Well, it's a very pleasant, mild, albeit breezy morning, and I'm at Stoke Bardolph today, and that's the view at the end of what's known locally as the road stretch looking towards Burton Joyce. Lovely couple, apparently. Stoke Bardolph is just a few miles just outside of Nottingham, and this of course is the River Trent. Very different habitat to that which you're accustomed to on these videos. And I've come here today to have a look for two more woodlice, one of which was new to the county in March of this year, when I found it just yards away from where I am now. The other one is a much smaller pygmy type woodlice, which I only ever found once, and that was further up behind me along the river. So we're going to have a look, see what we can find, see whether we can find both those two species. Now I'm hoping that the first of the two species that I'd like to find today is present under this stone. To which you're now of course saying, what stone? Well, if we uncover this piece of concrete, there were many of the species that I'm after in March of this year. Now the species is Trachelipus rathkii, and it was the first record for Nottinghamshire. It's rare anywhere north of the sort of South Midlands counties. There is a Leicestershire record, and I think there are more sites for this species at the side of the Trent that just need finding. So we'll have a lift up. And there's not a single one here. That scuppers the plans a bit. This rather nice, quiet looking spot is still just off the road. In fact, you might well see a car go over the bridge. And this is an inlet into the Trent, and it holds quite a fond memory for me. I remember as a family we popped down here one Sunday afternoon for a walk, and it was overcast and quite gloomy, I remember. And as we walked over here, there was a blue bird sat on a low branch just over the water here. It wasn't planted up to the degree that it is now. And although I was interested in birds as a kid, I promptly exclaimed that it was a budgie at first. It wasn't until it flew that I realised that it was a kingfisher. Only being young, I was amazed after seeing kingfishers in books. It used to be the favourite bird I used to like to draw, and to actually see one in the flesh was astounding to me as a young kid, and the memory has stuck with me ever since. My identification skills are a little bit better now, honestly, but the memory has stuck with me. This place has been planted up a lot more. There's been quite a bit of planting of a small copse on either side of this bit of water. But I always remember that sighting nearly 50 years later. Well, it was 50 years later. And looking at it now, it's quite well used by a number of birds popping in for a drink. fond memories. And while I have been here, I have heard kingfisher. They're still around. Not the same one, of course, but they're still here. And here's the view looking further east down the Trent, with the village of Burton Joyce on the left-hand side here. Next village down is Gunthorpe, and then you've got Hoveringham after that as you go further east or north-east up through the county. And this kind of habitat is quite typical of much of the Trent where it runs through Nottinghamshire. It's not always the easiest of habitat to find stuff in. There's never much to look under, not until we get further up past Newark, sort of Girton way, and then there's a lot more sort of debris at the side of the Trent. Here there's nothing, at least not on this side of the river. But the grass areas either side of the Trent and the floodplains, they're not the best of habitats for rare inverts anyway, but there are some nice species to be found in this stretch of the Trent between Stoke Bardolph and Hoveringham. It makes for a peaceful scene though. Well, here's a view looking the other way. We're looking up the Trent. That's towards Ratcliffe-on-Trent and just down from the ferryboat in. And as you can see, Bill's mother is once again getting seriously wet over there. And there's more rain to come here. I guess it's scuppered the plans for today. But of course, these are months and months of ideal searching conditions for either species. But certainly since I last visited Stoke Bardolph, there's been a bit of a clear up on the banks. Hey up, it's caught a fish. Or it's caught a bucket full of weed. Yes, it's caught a bucket full of weed by the looks of it. Not anymore, then. Good bit of angler there, you. And here comes the rain again.